I have nothing to hide. Hello. Just being a dag today. Oh, that music's a bit loud. Today is the 19th of Feb, Thursday, 2015. Sorry, I'm just all over the place. Can't find my volume. And I'm up to day 16 in blogging. Still feel like, still feel like it's a bit of a stretch to get this done. So I'll try and keep it short so it uploads really quickly again. Checking with myself. I should be really grumpy today because I didn't go to sleep till close to 1 o'clock. Just doing computery stuff again. Yeah, that whole self-honouring about going to bed early, I'm not nailing it. What else have I got to say? Oh, just, I thought I'd just pick apart and talk about that mantra that I mentioned yesterday. I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to protect. I have nothing to prove, and I have nothing to defend. It's just really powerful to be able to look at yourself and say all of those things and then actually go out there and do it. Like, why do we hide? Why do we feel the need to hide? Where did that start from? When did we start feeling like I can't show who I really am? At an early age, usually when we don't know who we are, we're fairly spontaneous, and I suppose we are just being who we are, and then we get parceled and shaped and picked and prodded and so said, don't do that, don't be this way, no, that's too loud, oh, that's not very considerate, or so we get moulded, don't we? And and some of those spontaneous parts get tucked away and packaged away, and maybe we interpret some of the messages we're given, and if you're sensitive little soul like I am, so I may have misinterpreted some of those guiding comments, and taken it to heart and taken it personally, and then got down on myself about the particular way I was being, and then decided that's not acceptable and I'm going to completely hide that side of myself. So maybe, who knows, it came then, maybe it happened later after some rejections. Certainly we hide our shadow side, and I think that's a fine line about whether we should show that shadow side. I think we show the shadow sides to ourselves, so we go, hey, that's interesting, that's a little bit dark, that way of being that I'm thinking. I think we need to show it to ourselves to then go, right, okay, I love you, you're still a part of me, it's okay to be like this or have these thoughts, but I'm not going to project them over onto other people or let them play out into my interactions with people. I'm going to own it. So then the bit about I have nothing to protect, well, to get around in the world and live your life. So, I'm in my mid-40s, and I've had some hurts, as we all do, and some of us get around with our armour a bit thicker than others and place their armour out there pretty early on, but to sort of walk out in the world and be vulnerable, you've got to almost have a strength that you've built up, so there's some resilience there to completely be yourself in the world, and loving and caring and vulnerable, and there's a whole load of elements around. Oh no, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole in my mind, but anyway, the need to protect is usually because we've been hurt, and those feelings have been so overwhelming that we don't want to feel like that ever again, so we create those defences and armour to protect us. And weight, for me, has been one of those things. Somehow, the comforting of food protects me from feeling yucky. but also physically feels like there's a buffer and might keep people away, or I don't know quite the degree of all of that, but then I have nothing to prove. That's a really hard one. Well, that's, you know, society's expectation of, there's all these criteria that we're supposed to achieve, and almost as though our worth is dependent on reaching those set criteria, which is a load of nonsense, but it becomes such an ingrained part of our subconscious of, you know, you must be this and you must be that to have proved yourself worthy of, I don't know, a status or being accepted by certain people that give value to those criteria. I don't know. I think, you know, at the end of the day, we only have to prove things to ourselves, and, you know, perhaps universal criteria need to be about, I'm a loving being, I'm compassionate, I'm caring, I'm giving, all those beautiful qualities. And if we can prove ourselves to be living day to day and hopefully trying to think day to day in those ways, well, you know, we've proved ourselves. Having said that, we can be really hard on ourselves too and perfectionistic. So I don't know. Do we have to prove anything? I'm just me. I accept me in all my journeying, wandering, learning capacity, and I don't have to be there yet with anything. So I have nothing to prove. To defend. Well, to defend something, there must be some perceived injustice. That's a big one for me. Fairness, truth, justice are my driving Achilles heels. My Libran traits, I think, I can get very uptight around seeing any injustice or unfairness, you know, given to other people, and certainly if people treat me that way, it pricks me to want to defend. So, yeah, not sure how I'm really exploring that one, but I suppose it's not having an attachment, isn't it, to certain things, certain ways of other people being, how they treat us, to remain detached, to know that it doesn't say anything more or less about who I am. If people are committing those injustices against me, it says more about them. So if I'm not having any expectations or attachment around it, then I have nothing to defend. Anyway, just thought I'd break that down a bit and talk about it and see how I explored that for myself. Obviously, that's my personal view of the world through my little filters, and yeah, it won't be everybody's. But it got me thinking too about, I have nothing to hide, I have nothing to protect, I have nothing to prove, and I have nothing to defend. All those things are kind of on the back foot, kind of like a defensive type reaction, which led me to think about, you know, one of the things that is being put forward at the moment is that the whole problem in the world and with people and relationships is us not recognising in the first instance, or taking responsibility and being accountable for our own tendencies, and they may be, I think they're mostly involuntary, mostly subconscious, and mostly we're not aware of it, is our resistance to love. And just, how many words is that? Resistance to love, 3. Those 3 words really bring up stuff for me. When I heard that, and I went, I'm definitely doing that a lot. And it applies in a couple of ways. Resistance to love is, or quite a few ways. Resistance to love is us resisting, putting our defences up, and not letting love in from others. Also resistance to love in loving ourselves. You know, and all of that is caught up in self-compassion. So you've got to have compassion for others and compassion for self before you can self-love. And then our resistance to expressing our love. So it's the resistance to receiving love, from others, and receiving it from ourselves to ourselves, and then resistance to giving out love to others and to ourselves, and to the world at large. You know, loving, feeling, holding space in our hearts for the people in the world in general. And so, yeah, I think there's a constant dance, and that reminds me of that book called The Dance of Intimacy. I can't remember the author, but awesome book, that one, to help us understand how we can avoid intimacy sometimes in a protective manner. And maybe we do that sometimes because we haven't accepted aspects of ourselves fully, and it's difficult to be intimate when we're uncomfortable with parts of ourselves that might become exposed through breaking down the resistance to love. But the heart of the problem in the world is our resistance to love. I mean, if we can all consciously make effort to break down our resistance to love, there'll be less war, there'll be less infighting, there'll be less family and relationship breakdowns, less road rage, there'll be less of everything. There'll be just more love. There'll be more people being conscious and in touch with connecting their, subconscious thoughts to their intention and actions. So it's something that I'm working on. I'm aware of. And again, you can play with the edges of that one just in your day-to-day interactions, and go catch yourself when you're in the kitchen and you've got a family member or loved one around you, and tune into your body and feel if there's a little tension in your body when you're around that particular person, or there's something that you feel is holding you back. And then see what happens if you just let down that resistance a little and show yourself and let the other person see you, so you've been seen. And then even more courage to project the love from your heart and use the words to express it and be with them and see them. It's pretty powerful. It kind of scares me at the same time as I say it. But I think if I have that awareness, I have to live it, don't I? I have to be in integrity to myself and to my loved ones around me and to the world at large. And that makes me think of another topic I'd love to talk about. I'm aware now, so I need to practice that one. Okay. I've gone long again. It's almost 14 minutes. Love you to sort of leave me any comments or thoughts if that brought anything up for you, or you have anything to add. Do you know what I'm doing? I'm just dragging out the time because I'm tired, and this has gone to 13 minutes and I want to tick past 13. I'm being silly and superstitious, and anyway, that's what I do when I'm tired and I get a bit silly. Alright, I will see you tomorrow. Bye. So over 14 minutes. Ta-ta.